What's up, everyone? This is FP Sticks bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Great League. And in today's video, I'm showcasing one of my more favorite teams to run currently in the Great League because of how flexible it is. So this team features Sableye and Pelipper as potential safe swaps in this line because of how flexible they are and kind of depending on what lead you encounter. Registeel is still very, very solid in the meta. I love that it has solid play against Bastiodon as well as all of the flyers that are in the meta. Now Pelipper really only has to fear getting hard stuck against a lantern. So the majority of the time I will be safe swapping my Sableye. But because there are some cases where my opponent will lead a Medicham and then I'll try to safe swap the Pelipper and they end up having a lantern in the back as well. If you get stuck in that situation, there's almost no playing out of that scenario. But the way that this team works is that if you encounter a fighter in the lead, like a Medicham, you have two options in the back to pivot out and try to get a shield advantage with one of those options and then hope that your other Pokemon in the back can sweep endgame up a shield. So I've been having a lot of success with this team. I've also been really enjoying running this team instead of Registeel in the lead, running Galarian Stunfisk. That's another potential option, but both Pokemon serve very similar purposes in this team, and running Reggie makes you a little bit stronger against Azumarill as well. So Pelipper against G-Fisk, you easily outpace now, but depending on how bulky your opponent's G-Fisk is, it takes 2 Weather Balls plus a lot of wing attack damage. Able to land the Hurricane on the Noctowl there. I tried to catch a move on my Registeel, thinking that they were going to throw there, but I was incorrect, and I'm barely able to get to this Weather Ball here to knock out this Pelipper and take that game. Good game. Reggie into Noctowl, very favorable lead. Noctowl is everywhere in this meta, and whenever they bring out a lantern, that's totally fine. Registeel can hang with that, but I do need to preserve this Registeel for the Noctowl, so most likely going to throw one move and then regardless of what they do, go into Sableye. I get the attack fail there, and I'm actually staying in this matchup a little bit too long. I farm up energy and then swap the Sableye. I got a little bit greedy there with the Registeel just because their attack had been dropped. Farming up as much as possible so that Noctowl gets minimal farm on my Sableye when it comes back in. But once again, I get a little too greedy here. They sneak a Spark. Thank goodness they did not shield that, so I still have switch advantage. They bring out Noctowl. They get not too much farm. And I do have energy on my Registeel. I'm going to throw a Focus Blast immediately because my switch clock is not up because of how long I stayed in. Now I can safely bring out my Pelipper. And 2 Weather Balls plus a lot of wing attack damage will be able to knock this thing out. But my Registeel is potentially in a health range where 1 Shadow Ball and 1 Sky Attack from the Noctowl will most likely knock it out. So I do need to be wary of that. So I burned both my shields on the Rock Slides from G-Fisk because those are the moves that are going to do the most damage. I get the final shield. This actually ended up being a CMP tie. But I need to make sure that I get rid of this G-Fisk. Out comes the Noctowl, and I immediately go back into my Registeel. I will survive a Shadow Ball, and I should be able to reach this Zap Cannon. I just need to guarantee that I can land a Weather Ball on that G-Fisk as well. Because they survive this, they farm me down, but Pelipper does win the CMP tie, and I have a little bit of energy stored to be able to outpace the G-Fisk before they get to that Rock Slide. I overfarmed just a little bit extra because I was keeping track of their energy and able to take that game, maintained alignment the whole time, and that's a really common team that you see a lot. Okay, Medicham in the lead. Here I end up going into Sableye and they bring a lantern out. This team comp of Medicham in the lead and Lantern in the back, I don't know how it has become popular because you're double weak to Trevenant, you're extremely weak to Trevenant. But it is all over the place, and this is a prime example of why I can't really safe swap Pelipper. Sableye just continues to be really, really flexible. I am going to try to fight for switch advantage here, or at least try to get all the shields down so then Reggie has a better matchup there. Going to throw this foul play immediately. And they end up letting it go. I now have switch advantage, and they end up bringing in a Medicham in on my Sableye. Gonna be able to get to a foul play here. And I do get the shield. I can safely bring out Pelipper here. What do they have in the back that would potentially ruin my day? I really think it's a Noctowl in the back because that core of 3 is so common, and there it is. This core of Noctowl, Medicham, and Lantern is everywhere, and people kind of run it in random arrangements. But going to be able to throw this Zap Cannon, and because I did correctly shield up the Psychic on this Pelipper, this is purely alignment based in our favor. And it just goes to show Sableye was very flexible there. Potentially my opponent misclicked and they meant to bring out Noctowl onto my Sableye. That's typically what happens. And that team comp, it's very, very challenging to beat unless your opponent makes a mistake. I let the Noctowl take out my Pelipper to make sure that Medicham does not get a big energy advantage. And now I'm just going to throw out this Weather Ball to get rid of this Medicham. And I have another Weather Ball stored to take out this Noctowl, and we're able to take that game there. Yeah, typically if they bring in Noctowl against your Sableye, you're never going to win switch. And if your Lantern's stuck, or if your Pelipper is stuck against the Lantern, really, really bad. So right now my Sableye is stuck against Lickitung, which is definitely not ideal. I think in this particular game I end up trying to take it to the 2 shield. Because I really like when I can get an energy advantage on a farm down after the secondary matchup. Or potentially try to flip switch advantage in my favor here. But they are not shielding anything on their Lickitung, so I'm actually going to double shield knowing that they're probably just going straight Power Whip and going to farm up some energy here. So I'm either going to get 2 shields or have switch advantage. They do give me switch advantage. And then what are they going to bring in? They end up bringing in G-Fisk. So this is not ideal, but I do end up catching a Rock Slide on my Registeel. Now I'm anticipating that they're going to try to catch my Focus Blast onto their Trevenant, and that's exactly what they do. So I do end up throwing the Zap Cannon. That'll do some nice neutral damage, but I still have a G-Fisk with 2 shields to deal with in the end game, which is not good at all. My Sableye does have a lot of energy, luckily. But Pelipper with no shields is really going to struggle against this G-Fisk here. I'm going to need to land 2 Weather Balls to take them out as well. And I'm just low enough health that I don't think I'm going to be able to reach another move in the late game. Really need to try to get a Weather Ball off here, but they have managed their energy so perfectly here. My opponent is playing so well. Trevenant, Lickitung, and G-Fisk, a really strong team, and I was hoping that getting a switch advantage would benefit me somehow, but they just took the 2 shield advantage, and there was no way that I could deal with the G-Fisk up energy and up shield advantage like that in the end game. So they're able to take this. Very well played to my opponent there. And just barely not able to reach that final Focus Blast anyways. They're a good game. Reggie into G-Fisk. So the cool thing about this matchup is that you do outpace the G-Fisk by 1 turn on the first cycle here. So I like to throw this Focus Blast and then eventually pivot out here to keep my Registeel nice and healthy. They have a Slurpuff, a Charm Slurpuff in the back. Very, very unique pick here. Gonna go straight for the return, try to get a shield. They end up no shielding it and then fainting me anyways. I'm thinking that I should be able to lock down before they can get to a flamethrower, and I'm able to get there. Their G-Fisk is very low health. They're gonna bring it in. And I was thinking, is this a double fairy team? Is this like G-Fisk double charm? They even baited me with Rock Slide. That's so unfortunate. I'm gonna double shield here. Really nice bait on their part. They try to catch a Focus Blast on Pelipper, it looks like, but I am able to get this Zap Cannon off. No debuff either, which is really unfortunate. But all I need to do is be able to burn their final shield here and then land the Zap Cannon. Or land a Hurricane with my own Pelipper. So I'm going to throw the Zap Cannon, gets shielded, and then I try to go for a Weather Ball catch on my Pelipper. It doesn't work though. Now I know that they're going to be able to catch on their G-Fisk relatively soon here, so I just need to be very careful of that catch. This is just a Weather Ball. But I really need to be able to... There's the G-Fisk. I really needed to build to 100 energy to knock out that Pelipper. Really unfortunate there. I should have built to 100 because then I would have been able to throw Hurricane and Weather Ball. I'm going to barely be able to survive this Weather Ball here, but then I need to reach another move, and I'm barely able to get there, so we're still able to take this game despite me kind of fumbling the end game there. Good game. Reggie into another G-Fisk, very, very common. Again, I like to throw the Focus Blast because I get there one turn before they get to the Earthquake, and it's very unlikely that G-Fisk is ever going to swap out of this matchup early on like that. And then regardless of what they do, I tend to pivot to Sableye just to see how they want to play this out. They do land an Earthquake on me, that's fine. Out comes Pelipper. I'm already up a shield. I really want to land this return, so I will shield this up. And I end up actually baiting with Foul Play here. I do get the shield, and I will be able to get to another Foul Play. Now I can lock on down this Pelipper, and then have a Focus Blast ready for their G-Fisk once again. That puts it in very nice farm down range for my Registeel. And unlike G-Fisk, the Weather Ball damage is not super effective on Registeel, so I can easily tank all this. Out comes the G-Fisk. Going to be able to successfully land this Focus Blast. It's not enough to KO, but I'm keeping track of their energy. I tried to catch a Earthquake. It did not happen. Out comes Venusaur. I need to overfarm in this matchup as much as possible to guarantee that I can still reach a Weather Ball against that G-Fisk. So here you see me perfectly build up to 100 energy. This should be just enough to stack a Hurricane and a Weather Ball back to back, and I do win the CMP tie against G-Fisk regardless. So we will be able to take that game there. Good game. They were running the G-Fisk Pelipper Venusaur team, which is still really strong and fun to play. Altaria in the lead, and then they mirror with their own Reggie. Now, ideally, you want to be able to catch a Focus Blast on your Sableye in this scenario. So I farm up a little bit extra and then swap, but they had patience here. Most likely, this is a Zap Cannon. Nice play. It doesn't matter, though, because I will still have switch advantage in my favor. So going to throw this Foul Play, then I'm going to get farmed by the Altaria. I'm able to get last second Foul Play off, which is really nice. We still have switch advantage, but our switch clocks are desynced. So I do need to wait out my timer here, because they'll be able to swap out before I can get out of there. And it is a G-Fisk in the back, and I'm still stuck in this matchup. This is not great at all. Gonna throw the Focus Blast, I get a shield, and then swap to my Pelipper. All I need is 2 Weather Balls to knock this out. I can survive 1 Rock Slide, so I'm gonna no-shield the first one. And despite being down a lot of energy, I still feel okay about this scenario here. I just need to reach another Weather Ball. Definitely have to shield up this Rock Slide. And that Altaria has loaded energy. I am worried about the combo play. They end up shielding that right there. And I am very concerned about the combo play here on the Altaria. There it is, and I was just quick enough to respond. I have the Weather Ball stored on my Pelipper. And so it doesn't really matter how much energy that G-Fisk could potentially farm. I'm going to be able to land the Weather Ball no problem. As long as the game does not one turn lag and not show my charge moves, which that has happened many times, and it's very frustrating when that does occur. I'm even able to get to a Focus Blast here to take out this G-Fisk and take that game there. Good game. Reggie into Skarmory. Very favorable lead, but you need to play the secondary matchup very well, and this is very common where people will safe swap a Lantern because their whole purpose here is to try to bait out a Trevenant so they can hard farm it with their Flyer. Oftentimes that's Noctowl, but in this particular case, my opponent's running Skarmory. And they're running Thunder instead of Thunderbolt. That is very unique. I really like going in Sableye in this matchup because this neutral energy from Sableye is going to be very beneficial into almost anything that could come in. And most likely they're just going to bring in the Skarmory and farm me down. Now, also, a typical pairing with Skarmory is some sort of a ground type, typically Swampert or Whiscash or a G-Fisk in the back. And so having my Pelipper for that is going to be pretty nice. Waiting out the clock here just to be safe. Gonna bring out my Reggie, and it's a Medicham in the back. We're looking very good here. Pelipper can hang with this matchup. They could bait me with Power Up Punch though, so I end up no shielding this, and it is a Power Up Punch Medi. They also could be running Power Up Punch, Ice Punch potentially. I just go straight for the Hurricane here. They let it go. There is no win con for them, and so they know that, and they concede the game. We're able to maintain positive alignment the whole time. Good game. Gliscor in the lead. Not great. Gonna go straight into my Sableye here. Now they can hit me for neutral Night Slash or neutral Earthquake. It's a normal Gliscor, so it definitely is tankier than a Shadow. I will shield this up regardless of what it is, and they do go for the big move, so good shield on my part. Over farming and then going to throw the foul play here. And they end up shielding that. Looks like they're going to go straight for the Earthquake. I'm more than willing to double shield, farm this down, and have switch advantage. Let's see what they want to come in with. It's a Lantern. Thank goodness Pelipper has not been switch locked against these Lanterns. This is why I'm opting to safe swap Sableye the majority of the time here. They end up throwing right away. I really should have thrown Return. Unfortunate misplay on my part there. And it is a Medicham in the back, but I'm down a shield. Now I do survive a Psychic, but I have to make a call here on whether, where they're going to spend their shield. So I end up going for a Weather Ball here. And this felt like a CMP tie on a Power Up Punch. But I actually throw another Weather Ball. And they're saving their shield for Lantern. They want the farm down. I'm not able to get a Weather Ball. But all I really need is one charge move against this Lantern. And they need to land a lot of energy on my Registeel here. So I end up going just for double Focus Blast because it saves a little bit of energy. And so I think they're going to try to go for double Surf. And my Reggie just needs to barely hang on. CMP tie. Do I survive this Surf here? Yes, I barely survive with a sliver of health. And we're going to be able to land this Focus Blast and take out the Lantern. Really close game there. Good game. Reggie into Venusaur. This is an awkward matchup for both sides here. The Frenzy Plants are resisted. All of my charge moves are resisted. But once again, I don't really want to stay in this matchup the whole time. I land a Zap Cannon, I get the attack drop, and then they end up accidentally clicking on Medicham. There's no way that this was an intentional response to my Sableye here. Definitely seems like a misclick. I greedily go for a foul play here, thinking that they might shield, but that was a pretty dumb play. Now I have to throw two charge moves instead of if I just went for the return to save a little bit of energy. Out comes the Venusaur once again, and this thing is going to be kind of difficult to deal with. I do want the Shadow Claw damage here, so I do end up shielding. What is in the back? It could be another fighter, maybe Defense Deoxys or a G-Fisk. So they're going to take me out. And then what do I end up farming with here? Pelipper? Yeah, it is a G-Fisk in the back, so I'm really glad that I go in with Pelipper here. Now we can see the one shield scenario play out in even energy here. My wing attacks look like they're kind of chunking that G-Fisk, so they might not have the best IVs. Because one more Weather Ball will do the trick here. And I easily outpace this G-Fisk. I'm at back-to-back, so I can just throw this, and if they shield, I can throw immediately. And this should be able to take it out, and then my wing attacks should be able to knock out that Venusaur and take the game there. Good game. Reggie into Bastiodon. You can see Registeel is picking up a lot of leads And that's just because of how many things are popular in the meta right now. Noctowl is popular, Lantern, Bastiodon still very popular. Medicham is also very popular, which is why we have 2 responses in the back. I'm able to land the Zap Cannon, and then I can safely bring in my own Sableye. Against these Bastiodon teams, switch advantage is everything, because it's very polarizing Pokemon that they have in the lead and the back. It's most likely either going to be a Medicham or like a Shadow Victory Bell in the back here. And they end up actually throwing their energy here. They definitely should have committed to the farm down. I wait at the clock. Gonna bring in the Reggie. They're still staying in, which means maybe they have something weak to Reggie in the back. And they're actually shielding their Bastiodon, which is crazy to me. I do need to respect the flamethrower here. And I do outpace. I need to make sure that they don't catch on anything. So that's why I'm throwing these focus blasts in the middle of the smackdown animation. They're trying to burn both my shields, which they will get both my shields. And what do they have in the back? It's a Medicham, so I actually end up throwing the Zap Cannon, and then I can safely farm up a lot of energy here. I think I actually end up farming this all the way down, and then I can unleash all these Weather Balls onto the Bastiodon, especially after that attack drop from the Zap Cannon. Throw one wing attack and then queue up the Weather Ball for optimal move timing. And down goes the Bastiodon. It always feels good to beat a Bastiodon there. Good game. Here's a Medicham in the lead. I still go Sableye here, and they respond with Noctowl. This is pretty common. If there's a Lantern in the back, there is almost no way you can win this game unless your opponent gives you some sort of an advantage. I might go down 2 shields here. Yeah, I'm going to end up getting all shields down because Registeel can actually beat Medicham in the 0 shield, especially if I have an energy advantage. So that is how I'm trying to wiggle myself out of this bad situation here. Gonna shield this up again. They're going for Shadow Ball instead of Sky Attack, so it is allowing me to benefit from that. I'm gonna swap back into my Reggie to catch this move. So I was able to pivot out. I catch the Sky Attack, out comes the Medicham, but because that Sky Attack landed, I don't think I will be able to take this in the 0s anymore. It doesn't seem like they have Power Up Punch because they're not throwing anything. I do get the attack drop. They're going for the Ice Punch. But if it's Lantern in the back, there is just, I'm in a world of hurt here. They land another Ice Punch. And I am able to get to a last second Focus Blast here to take out this Medicham. Now I kind of have to make a read here on what's in the back. So I think I end up coming in Pelipper. But it's Bastiodon in the back. It's Bastiodon in the back. That is not what I wanted to see at all. Medicham, Noctowl, Bastiodon. They definitely got me with that one. Good game. Dragonite, so this thing does have access to Superpower. Ideally, I want to try to catch a Superpower onto my Sableye here. I get the attack drop and then I swap out. They store all that energy and then swap out. So that Dragonite is going to be tough to deal with in the late game. It has like 2 charge moves essentially. You see me swapping out a lot in the lead, and that's just because Sableye and Pelipper both benefit really greatly with an energy advantage, and they're so flexible that I'm not really scared of getting hard stuck against too many things with Sableye, especially since Charm is so much less common in the meta now. Out comes that Dragonite again. Gonna let this go. I barely survive, and I'm able to get this foul play off. That is super clutch in this scenario. Down goes to Dragonite. They had so much energy. In the back is a G-Fisk. Oh, man. I think this is the game that I totally throw. Okay, they have an energy advantage. I still should win this, even with the Mudshot energy advantage here. Going to throw this Weather Ball. I think we'll see what happens, but I feel like this is the game where I try to get really fancy. Oh, man. Here it goes. Okay, so I catch a move, but they undercharge the Earthquake and perfectly Mudshot me down. I have to reach this Weather Ball. I'm one away. Thank goodness I sneaked the wing attack through, because this is probably going to be another CMP tie. And no, it wasn't. I'm able to get this weather ball. I made the end game way too complex there for the content. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the video. And I'll catch you all in the next one.